So we are here on this Airbus A321 and it's waiting for a new owner and until it can go and fly again. Until then we are doing here routine maintenance tasks and parking tasks. Test some systems, we need to apply the ground power to use the electrical system. So now we will connect it.
So is it like a standard plug or?
Yes, it's standard plug. Applicable for every aircraft.
Okay.
So now we can switch the GPU on. So now we have connected the external power, and for first we will check if all the systems are in correct condition, so we can start maintenance on aircraft. Aircrafts are designed for flying, so therefore if they are not flying so much right now, we still need to come and check the systems and move them. During aircraft parking tasks, we usually check the general external condition and search, for example, for leaks and for damages. Also, we check that the main systems are working correctly, and for example, that the hydraulic levels are good and that they operate correctly. Usually the aircrafts are quite reliable, but still if the aircraft is staying on the ground, small leaks can occur. So if we found some leak, we usually check how big it is and we clean it at first, and then we will see if it's in the limits or not, and then proceed with the next action. During the storage or parking, the hydraulic systems need to be switched on as well to move the flight controls, and by that we can lubricate the actuators and keep them in good condition. At first we check if the hydraulic level and pressure is good, and after that we can move the flight controls. We go now with the elevator, it goes down, fully down, comes back, and the other side.
So we're right above the wheel well, where is the power transfer unit, and you can hear this barking sound, which it's barking sound, so the passengers always think that some kind of dog is just underneath, but actually it's the hydraulic power transfer unit, which is transferring the power of one hydraulic system to another. That's how it's working. When the aircraft arrives, first thing what we do usually is we print the PFR, which stands for the Postflight report, and there we can see which faults were present during last or previous flight. So to do that, we use MCTU, and then we go to the CFDS menu, which stands for the centralized fault display system. Then we just press print. Here it goes. So here we can see all the failure messages or faults which were present, and we can start with the rectifying. Here we can see the oils, engine oil levels to make servicing. Lead page, which shows usually the valve positions if they are in the correct status. Also the pressurization, electrical was described before, hydraulics, fuel. APU it's not started now, so there is crosses. So this is the door page. You may see that the left door is open, so it's indicated the number. Oh, this is good feature. You can check the tire pressures, so you don't need to use the tire pressure gauge, so you can directly see them from the display.
During the long-term parking or even for storage tasks, we put the parking brake off so that the brake system wouldn't be under the constant tension all the time. We use wheel shocks instead.
Now we have to move the flaps out and the slats out, and my colleague went outside to verify that it's clear to move them. So now he will go and check it and show me the thumb that I can move it, and we are ready to go.
Safety, we check first if the area is clear to extend the flaps for inspection.
And you may see the movement here on the upper recap.
We checked if the slat tracks are in good condition, and now we can retract them again.
We also check the lighting systems of the aircraft, in this case external lights, so we can switch on, for example, landing lights on. Also the turn-off lights, runway turn-off lights, taxi light, takeoff lights, strobe lights, beacon, wing scan, and navigation lights. Usually we do walk around, check them for operation. If we find some inoperative which doesn't illuminate, we change the bulb, or we do further troubleshooting, changing, for example, power supply units or etc.
So there is basically two main options to to park the aircraft or to the storage of aircraft. It is operators or aircraft owner decision to tell which procedure to apply. Is it aircraft parking or storage? If they decide to put the aircraft in storage mode, there is much more initial tasks to perform and to do the preservation of the systems. But after that, the intervals of the checks are much longer. But sometimes it makes much more sense to leave the aircraft in parking mode. The intervals are shorter, but it's much quicker to get the aircraft in serviceable condition again. During aircraft parking, we still want to make sure that the aircraft is in serviceable condition. So one of the tasks we do is regular walk around, and we check usually the fuselage and all the systems for leaks and for good condition, and also during this we can check the lights. So the strobe lights and position lights are okay. Now we can also check the beacon light, which is under the belly and also on the top. Then we can head to the aft lights. We will also check the front taxi lights. And the landing lights.
So for the reverse test, we have to check if it's clear for movement. If no objects obstructing. Yeah, it's clear to move, so we can start with the test. During aircraft parking periodical checks, we have to check the hydraulic reservoir levels, not only on the screen but also physically outside. So be careful. This handle we use to open the landing gear door, so it will drop down now. And we can open also the other one. Here's in the wheel well, right in the middle, you may see the green hydraulic reservoir, and here is a few gauges. One is showing the level, hydraulic fluid level, and another one is showing the pre-pressurization pressure. This is the yellow system, also with a few gauges for the level and for the air pressure. Well, once we have the landing gear doors open, we also can check the components for the leakage. You may see here on the door there is a few steps which we can use to access the upper part of the wheel well. I can show you. here we can inspect everything from the above. For the leakage, for the general condition. All inspection is done. To close the doors we have to put the hydraulic power on. All the inspection is done and the landing gear door closed, so we don't need hydraulics anymore, and basically the electrical power as well, so we can switch them off. Yeah, electrical pump is off. You can see the pressure is dropping. Definitely we have to not to forget to switch off the batteries, otherwise they will be discharged during long-term parking. The battery is off. You can also verify it on the display. You can see the bat 1, bat 2 is off, and we are ready basically to switch off the power. We switch off the power on the aircraft, and we also have to switch off it on the GPU itself. On the forward fuselage we have the hatch for the battery compartment. During aircraft parking we have to also physically disconnect batteries because they are supplying the hot bus. For example, the electrical clock in the cockpit is directly supplied from the battery, and during the long-term parking it can be also the cause of battery discharge, so we have to disconnect them physically as well. We have two batteries, also one here. Once they are disconnected, we can close the compartment door as well. For the engine oil servicing, here's a special hatch because it's quite often procedure. Usually during each night stop you have to do the engine oil servicing. And here you see the side glass with the level, and here's the cap. And here you put the oil. But for the generator, you have to open the fan cowls because this procedure is not so oftenly performed, and usually it's on the weekly basis or even more rare. So once the fan cowl is open, you may see the generator itself, which is here, and here's also the side glass, which is showing you the oil level. On the side glass you may see different bands, which is red, yellow and green. So if it's green or between the yellow and green, that means the level is correct. If it's on the yellow or red, you have to do the servicing, either to replenish it or drain it. Oh, usually when you do the IDG oil servicing or the level check, you also may check the components for general visual inspection. And for example, here you may see the FADEC, which is full authority digital engine control. Basically this is the brain of the engine, which is controlling the engine. Here you may see the ACOC, which stands for the air-cooled oil cooler. So the oil is cooled by the air. You may see the grills here. The air is coming inside and bypassing the grills where it's circulating the engine oil. So this side you may see the starter. To start the engine we need the bleed air. So the bleed air is supplied this way, and here is the valve which is opening or closing, and usually it's controlled automatically by the FEDEC, which is full authority digital engine control. But sometimes the actuator which moves the valve may fail or some other malfunction. So in that case the aircraft still can fly, but it requires the maintenance personnel to open the valve manually. So in this case he is connecting the boom set to have the communication with the cockpit. So the pilot is giving the order once he's ready to start the engine, and the maintenance personnel is opening the valve manually. Once the engine is started, they close the start valve, and in this case you don't have to open the fully fan cowl because you have the special hatch for that, because it's quite dangerous to be underneath the engine when opening the fan cowls or closing them. So that in this case there is a special hatch for that, because it's easily it's easy to open the hatch or close the hatch than to open the fan cowl. Here you may see the ignition box. So now you may see the fan cowl, and it has 4 latches, and the very forward latch is with the key. This key is made especially not to forget to latch the fan cowls, because sometimes it may be a human error that the maintenance personnel, they may forget to latch the fan cowls, and during the takeoff they may open by itself. So on this side of the engine you may see also some few components, like this coat is FCOC, which stands for the fuel cooled oil cooler. So the engine oil is cooled by the fuel, because fuel is usually cold in the wings. It's going and circulating here and cooling the oil. What we may also see from here is the engine oil pressure switch, as for example. And also the hydraulic pump to pressurize the hydraulics. The engine number 1 on the Airbus A320 is supplying the green hydraulics. On this side you may see the fuel pump, but it's also called HMU, hydromechanical unit. So here you may see the fan blades. Usually during which walk around you have to check for the general condition, that there is no any cracks, notches or any damages. So on this V engine, on the fan spinner, here's a special tip which is made from rubber, and you can bend it easily. This is made to remove the build-up of ice during flight. So once the ice is built up, due to centrifugal force, it's just blown away. Here you may see the quite small gap between the fan blade and the casing, but here's the special treatition panel or abrasion panel, so the residual material can be shaved off in case it will touch the casing. Because we don't have electrical power now, we also can close the cargo doors just by bumping it manually with the handle.
And it's closed.
Job done. The aircraft parking is not like your personal car parking. When it's not flying and it's on ground, it always needs to be maintained. And also the maintenance clock is not stopped, so the all intervals are still continuing to run. So the maintenance clock is still running and you have to do some maintenance on the aircraft. The most important thing is to put the covers on the aircraft, especially on the air data system, because it has the holes, and the holes can be blocked during aircraft parking on ground. And to avoid that, you have to always have covers installed. For today, all maintenance tasks are done, and the next time we come would be after 1 week or per maintenance planning document procedures.